Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to On Your Mental. This is the podcast that shares candid, open, and sometimes vulnerable conversations between and about men. And you might be noticing, for people who have watched this before, there's a little bit of a different layout here. And not in my usual spot. And you'll see why in a second, because this is the first group episode of On Your Mental. But yeah, it's a great talk today. I hope you all enjoy. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. That way you know when new episodes are coming out. And if there's any topics that you ever want to see discussed on here, just leave a comment or send me a DM on Instagram or wherever. Anyways, enjoy the episode, and I'll see you at the end. Peace. Welcome to On Your Mental, and a special welcome to Alex. Alex, we've known each other since grade 8. So
about like 10 years?
10ish years. Thanks for coming on the podcast. This
Thanks
is your
for
first
having
time
me.
here. Happy to have you. And this is our first group episode as well. The podcast is evolving. We're going to get more perspectives on here and stuff. For everybody who's watching at home, welcome back to On Your Mental. This is the podcast. Fuck this guy. This is the podcast that shares candid, open, and sometimes vulnerable conversations between and about men. And today we're talking about inspiration and a little bit about like brotherhood and I guess sibling love and stuff like that. We're gonna get into all
sisterhood.
that. Sisterhood, yeah.
Traveling pants.
Sister of the traveling pants.
Where are they going?
Have you watched the movie?
No.
I've never watched the movie either. I don't know what happens to the
Alex,
pants.
have you?
You've watched it, clearly.
I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where are the pants?
Just the first one.
There's more than one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's
I
quite
think
the
there's
journey.
like 3. It's quite the
journey of
journey.
the pants. No kidding. Anyways, I'll start off our conversation about inspiration. Inspiration, I guess, plays a part in anybody's life, and it kind of motivates people to do things or might push you to step outside of a box. But the question for both of you, and I'll think about it as well, is what inspires you, or who inspires you? Either way.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I got the, I'll answer here. I'm not, truth be told, I'm not really feeling too inspired these days.
These days, sure.
These days, especially like after our trip, and my mind's like in a brain fog. But generally speaking, my family inspires me a lot. I'm a big movie guy, so I'll watch like movies once in a while. Like for example, I think a few days before we went on our trip, I was watching Pumping Iron.
Sure, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, one of his, might have been like his first like movie. And that was getting me
It's
inspired.
basically a documentary, no?
Yeah, it's basically his documentary. But that was getting me inspired for like fitness in the gym and stuff. But I don't really have too many goals going. Like I don't have many goals right now, so not too much inspires me at the moment. Sure. But movies inspire me. Like I'll watch like there's this like one scene from The Lion King. Like it gets me a little emotional.
Which scene?
It's the one where Mufasa's already died, and Simba's like he's like lost in his head, and then he meets Rafiki for the first time.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Everything's
And he's
always
running through the
swirling around.
grass, and then Rafiki's like, "Yo, your father's."
In the water.
Yeah, and he looks up in the water and just sees his reflection, and then he looks up in the clouds, and Mufasa kind of like starts to appear, and he's like, "Remember me."
Yeah, like remember who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, like just simple
Yeah.
stuff.
You
like,
know it. Yeah.
respect. My favorite movie.
There you go.
But like simple stuff like that just gets me like in the right mindset to be inspired, maybe. But I don't know if there's anything specifically at the moment that's inspiring me.
Sure. I feel like inspiration and I guess motivation kind of go hand in hand, right? That's kind of what you're like alluding to. And it's like inspiration often comes from an external point, and motivation is like, are you internally motivated or intrinsically motivated, right? So you can get those things that might put your mind into a place that makes you feel more motivated to do something or anything, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Not
I feel like, oh yeah.
Never mind. No, I was going to say something stupid.
Yeah. No, I think I'd say about the same. Like, I don't really draw inspiration from one particular person, but I would say that like everyone around me inspires me, and like as cheesy as it sounds, like everything around me, I find inspiration in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
On a daily basis, like my boyfriend will say something that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, and I'm just like, oh, that is so clever, or like do something differently than I would do something, and it's like, oh my god, that's amazing, like it makes my job like 3 times easier.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like seeing someone else's, I guess, take on something can be
Exactly.
inspiring in a way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be like some thing, right?
Yeah, or like some huge like philosophical thing, right?
Yeah, it
Would
could be
then-
little things, little
Yeah.
day-to-day things. Yeah.
Then would like certain people be more inspired compared, like, more certain, depending on
Maybe,
who they're
I get what you're
hanging out
saying.
with, right?
Mhm.
Like,
I
for
guess so,
example,
yeah.
if you're hanging out with like a bigger group of people a lot of the time and everyone's kind of like doing their own thing, as opposed to someone who's like a little more antisocial and more independent, would they, which one would be?
Because then they're not
But
being
then
exposed
also-
to things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then,
But then I feel like also it, like, just to take the adverse of that, like,
Right.
just because someone's quiet doesn't mean that they aren't inspired or aren't being inspired
Sure.
by
Yeah.
someone, right? Like, they could just be taking a moment to take it all in and then act on that inspiration later.
They could even be that person who's more inspired by things like movies or music or just
Exactly.
like art that they can handle themselves. They don't
Yeah.
have to be inspired by people.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing, right? Some people are inspired by people. Some people are inspired by other things. When I was thinking of this question, I was thinking to myself about being inspired by people. And so I
Yeah.
was thinking of like
Yeah,
who in my life
exactly.
inspires me, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, it's like always my mom, like the corny thing, always, my mom inspires me, but she does because
Of
single
course.
mom and she raised me and she's always like brave at trying things. She's going through her hip surgery recovery right now and she's just like a trooper, like no problem. She's walking like no problem these days.
Oh, I love her.
It's sick. Yeah, I love it. And so like she inspires me for just being who she is.
Yeah.
Right. And so I can look up to a lot of things about her. And I guess when you pause for a minute and you think about inspiration or try to think about inspiration, you can think about what parts it is that inspire you, right? Like I could think about my mom one day or another and I might think about a different thing that is inspirational about her, right? It could be about her courage to try new things. It could be about her perseverance when going through struggle, right? It could be different things, right?
Yeah.
So I guess inspiration hits differently from
does.
different people at different times,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Depending on
Yeah.
what you're going through and stuff too.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing too.
Yeah.
When you're going
Definitely.
through stuff, it plays a bigger role. Maybe when you're looking for inspiration too, right?
Yeah. I think like I've always been told like to be careful of holding idols in other people or like holding them up on a like pedestal,
Yeah.
so to say, right? Because we're all human and we falter and we stumble and we make mistakes. And if we have someone all the way up here and then all of a sudden like they do something that we probably like we would consider that it's like morally wrong,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like they fall and then it kind of changes that perspective on that person and you're just like, where do I find my inspiration now? So that's the advice that I was given, just like be careful who you put your trust in or who you hold up on that pedestal. So like I guess that's why I always had like a different look or take on holding inspiration from people.
Sure.
That's good advice.
Yeah, seriously,
I like
good
that.
advice. Yeah, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket with a person.
In a sense, yeah.
Because then I was watching again The Last Dance. I watched it a million times, but the Michael Jordan documentary, and
It's
in
so
there,
good.
it's so good. It's so good, and that's a thing that inspires me. Talking about documentaries, but in there he even says like he gets put on this pedestal, right? And people look up to him and say, "Oh, you want to be like Mike and all this stuff." But then he had all that stuff come out about gambling, and it's like he's just a person.
Exactly.
Just because you don't agree with gambling and someone else is making some
Yeah.
negative out of this doesn't
And
make
then,
him a
like,
bad person.
Yeah, and the way that like things are completely spun in the media as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that for him, like being a social media like powerhouse and then all of a sudden having that falter, like everybody sees him differently, right?
And that can apply to a regular person's life too, right? You can hear something from a person that you look up to, and if you don't agree with it, now all of a sudden like, oh shit, what am I doing? How am I, like, why am I inspired by this person? Should I be inspired by this person anymore?
Exactly.
Yeah, it can put you in a bit of like a box, I guess.
Yeah.
For myself, talking about family members, right? Talking about my mom being an inspiration for me, I'll ask you a question because both of you got siblings, both of you got brothers. I'm an only child, so I never get to experience what that relationship is like. I can only imagine, and I can hear stories about what that's like. So seeing your two younger brothers at this point, right?
2 younger brothers.
Both of them are growing into young men. And so this being a podcast about what's going on with men and in our lives and in our mental health, how do you feel about watching your brothers grow up into young men? What has that been like for you?
It's definitely been crazy. to say the least. But I think I noticed it the most in my youngest brother. He's 19 now. So like it made me feel really old. Like we celebrated his 19th birthday during quarantine, and it was crazy because it's just like, this is like a little child that I cared for and like helped pick up after, helped clean up after, and all of a sudden it's this man.
Yeah.
Like I guess like for my middle brother and I, like we're very close in age. We're only 2 years apart. So and we kind of went through the same phases at the same time. So like that was cool in a sense, but then we also, yeah, I feel like we both kind of just like look at our youngest brother and we're just like, whoa.
Yeah, no
Like, how did you all of a sudden turn into a man?
Yeah. That's a 6-year age gap then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about a 6-year gap.
Yeah.
But there's something, seriously though, it's not enough to put you outside of a generation, but it's enough to get you out of the same experiences.
Yeah.
Because you're going to grow up and you go through all of high school before even he's hit high school.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But what was that like for him then? Like seeing him go through a 19th birthday, which is a big deal in Canada. 19, you can drink. It's the big one.
It's the big one.
During the quarantine, what's that like? Going through that in the pandemic, how do you feel about that? How did you feel about that?
I felt kind of sad for him because he didn't get to experience that, going out with your friends and getting plastered. Yeah. Like hitting the club, getting plastered, coming home like way too late or completely blackout.
Wake up and then you've lost $200.
Yeah.
Because you gave $200 to people to kiss them. So
worth every penny.
Worth every penny. Yeah, but like I felt sad for him, but I know he definitely like tried to make the most of it. But yeah, I think it was just sad all around. Like even celebrating like all of our birthdays.
Right.
In quarantine where we weren't really able to do much.
It wasn't like a celebration.
Exactly.
Right. Seeing your youngest brother then becoming literally a young man, because 19 now you can do everything that you could do, that any actual man could do, man or woman could do in Canada. How does that feel? How does that feel, just seeing that happen? I know you've talked about it being like you've done all this stuff as a kid, you watch them grow, but like how do you feel about that now?
It's definitely an experience. I feel like almost like a mother in some sense, you know, kind of like you watch them grow up. Now they're this person going out into the world doing their own things, and like both of them still come to me for advice on like random things, like does this shirt go with these pants? Should I you know, like, or should I talk to this person? Like we only went out on like 3 dates. Like, do you know where we stand? I was like, obviously I don't know where you stand. Like, I don't know your relationship. But yeah, like they're funny and they're quirky like that. And I don't know. I feel like COVID has also brought us like a lot closer. Yeah. We always kind of joke around, kind of not really, that like we're bonded through trauma. Like all 4 of us, like my older sister and my 2 younger brothers and myself. Just sort of like everything that we've like experienced through life together and everything that like we've gone through on our own had kind of just like brought us closer. Yeah. Which is really cool.
Yeah. That's a real thing too,
yeah.
Right? Like bonded through trauma. As funny as like it is,
as
like
funny
joke
as
about
it is, no,
but joking about it is a good thing too, because it helps you like be okay with it.
Yeah,
that's such a real thing. When people go through similar experiences, it can keep you together, especially when they are more difficult things to go through. I think that is part of why our friend group is as close as we are, is we've gone through so much together, right? And it's kept us like glue, you know. We all have this like respect and understanding of how each other works, right?
Yeah, like what boundaries to push and where their limitations are.
Did you feel anything similar to like that, where you felt like maybe you grew closer together as
during
siblings
COVID?
And stuff during COVID? Yeah.
We definitely like hung out more. They had like more like family activities and stuff, but we were always like super close, so not particularly, no.
Sorry, so you're already fuck this guy. This guy already is so cool. Yeah. So you just felt as though didn't play like any like,
no,
huge
it was
role
nice though. It was nice because just having everyone at home and like no one was like going anywhere. We were watching like so many movies and stuff. I had like so
drawing
like
that inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
Lion King on repeat.
Dude, my dad loves to watch these, like he loves like the Liam Neeson movies where there's like a dude that takes things into his own hands and like yeah, he
or
loves
like
those.
A Denzel Washington kind of movie.
Yeah, sure,
I love that.
Yeah, he loves
The
those
Equalizer.
ones. So we watch like a lot of he'll have this like classic line like every night before we watch a movie. He'll be like, I want to watch something riveting. And, like, I want something
Riveting.
I want something action packed and riveting.
His
And
British
we know,
accent.
Oh yes, that too.
and we know exactly what he means. So
Yeah.
it'll be like those like storylines. But yeah, lots of movies, lots of dinners together. It was really nice. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it brought us too close together, just because we're already super close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, I'm thinking about I mean, I guess I shouldn't give you shit for it, because I mean, I'm very close with my mom already, and so I felt like it's not like it made us like way closer, but I felt like a growth of
bond.
appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've now gone through this together too.
Exactly.
Right? I know that for our sake, Kabir, you've talked about how the pandemic didn't change a lot for you. Right?
No.
It didn't feel like it changed a lot for you. It didn't throw you out of a pattern or anything, because you genuinely like that space with yourself. Right. And so for me, I'm now inside with my mom for a couple months, and then we were able to going back to work. I was able to go back in, and we weren't spending the whole day together anymore. But I gained some level of appreciation from my mom. It was cool. Like, we even did like just little walks around Richmond, and I didn't know any of the things that she took me through, and she's like cutting through all these neighborhoods, like snaking around stuff. She's like, yeah, if we go here, we're gonna end up over here. And I'm like, oh, you know all this stuff? Like, because she's in like a walking club.
Okay, that's
so
so
she
cute.
knows all this stuff, and it was like, now I'm joining her on her walks, because like, what else am I gonna be doing, right?
Yeah.
And so even something as little as that, it was like, I have this new appreciation for my mom, where she has like developed her own sense of community with these people on this walking group. And so that's another thing that I could be inspired by. She's gone through her whole life, and even at 60 plus years old, when she's retired, she's making new friends. You know what I mean? That's something that I'm inspired by. Like, if she can do that shit, I can do that when I'm older too, you know? Like, wherever we land, we'll be able to make new connections. So that's something that I thought about over the course of the
It's
pandemic.
definitely inspiring. I would say that's inspiring
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I don't know how people do that stuff. It seems so intimidating, because it's foreign to us now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The idea of
We'll get
putting
there
yourself
one
out
day.
there. Yeah, we'll be seniors just bumming around.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Bumming around TCC.
please still go to the community center. Oh man,
Back to the old days.
we've talked about it as a group. It would be sick if we all had kids at the same time, and then all our kids, everybody gets to bully
All
my
within,
kid.
like 5 years.
All within 5 years, yeah. We got to not have that 6-year gap. If we have
Yeah.
that 6-year gap, that
Yeah.
one kid's gonna be a loner, not gonna have fun. That kid.
Our second kids.
Yeah,
After
they can have
the
their
6
own
years.
generation
Yeah.
too. Oh man, no, that'd be so
Yeah,
cool.
kids.
Oh man, Kabir, to ask you a similar question to what I asked Alex. You've talked about how close you are with your brothers. You've talked about how you are connected, and now you've shared over the pandemic. It's not like you got close. You're already so close, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if you do draw any inspiration from your brothers. You talked about it a little bit on some episodes, but
For sure,
what other
yeah.
kind of inspiration you get.
Definitely. Yeah, so 2 older brothers. One's 4 years older, other is 7. So there's like a mini, it's like the same gap in between.
Yeah, for
But
the middle one.
Yeah, I always think of them as like, we're all kind of clones.
Right.
A little
but
bit,
a
yeah.
little bit, right?
Definitely.
We're all kind of clones. We all feed off each other's, like, I don't know. So my oldest brother, he's super like disciplined in what he does. So the type of inspiration I draw off him is, I'll watch him come home from a full-time job, obviously. So he's working Monday to Friday. He works super early, comes home in the afternoon, and then he just looks beat when he gets home. But like, he's given me this look, and he's like, he's giving me this look. Then the look is like, please tell me I need to work out. And I give him like that. I don't know. Sometimes I'll say it out loud, but sometimes I just give him the look.
Yeah.
And he knows he needs to work out, and he just does it every day. So that's the
so
type
cool,
of
man. Those are like
inspiration.
unspoken things.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah. Because we've said it so many times before. But that's the type of inspiration. He's so disciplined. So I try to draw that from him. And then my middle brother, I always think of is very like, a little rebellious, but I draw all my comedy from him. So any type of like funniness, or all my jokes are like straight from him. Yeah. I have no originality. You guys think I'm original with my
It's all
jokes?
hilarious. Yeah.
It's straight from him.
Man.
Yeah, it's all manifested from him.
Yeah.
No kidding, eh?
But yeah, just I don't know if anything else. Just the discipline, the comedy.
Yeah, and I guess
That's all I got.
That's
Hey,
all I got.
I'm sure there's more.
I'm sure there is,
that there's
yeah.
more, right? And it's like earlier I said how you can look at a person or think about a person, and you might in a moment think of one thing, right? So right now you're thinking of your older brother, you're getting discipline, the middle brother, you're getting comedy,
Yeah.
right? But I'm sure that there's so much more.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Discipline's a really good thing to pick up from somebody too, and I feel like it's a good thing to learn from seeing it happen.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll watch, because he used to, he got me into working out kind of. Well, he was the first person to start working out in our family. My dad didn't work out very much until my oldest brother started working out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I
then
didn't know that.
your
Yeah.
dad started working out too?
Yeah. He's been
No
working
shit.
out. He's been working out maybe like a couple times a week. Yeah, it's pretty consistently.
That's awesome.
He's gonna be
But,
bigger than you.
Yeah. I mean, he could still beat me up. He could beat me and my brothers up for sure. He used to box before.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I would look at my oldest brother, and he'd be getting like buff and stuff, and like, oh wow, he can, if he can do it, I could probably do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like intimidating looking guy. Like, just, I think when I look at him, I think of like successful and like confident, and disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess because you know them, right? So you have.
Well,
a
I
better
actually
sense of
don't know
that.
his older brother.
Sure. Okay.
Just the middle brother and this one, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Or fortunately. Depends
Depends
on
on how
the
you
day.
look at it.
Depends
Yeah.
on the day.
Depends on who you ask. Would you feel like maybe you feel any similar things towards your older sister then? I mean, now that you've mentioned that you have an older sister as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I look, like, similar to what you said about your oldest brother, like when I look at her, when I talk to her, I always like draw inspiration from her, or just like kind of admire how much she's actually done for herself. And it's like, go you,
Yeah.
you know, like, I know it's inspiring to see someone that you're so close with like grow so much as a person and also in life.
I was gonna say earlier, and
Yeah.
that has now reminded me of it. When I thought of my things that I might want to talk about for today's episode, I was thinking about watching people do something. I find that to be like the most badass shit you can do when you see somebody
That's why you love The
succeeding
Last
and stuff.
Dance, because it just
Yes.
walks through everything he's doing, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Seeing
The
a
growth
process, seeing
yeah.
a growth, passion like from an individual is something that like I'm so inspired by. When
Yeah.
you hear someone who's passionate talk about something that they're passionate about, it's sick. It like fuels you like crazy. It makes you like want to be a part of whatever it is that they're doing.
sure.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
I think that's so cool.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
personally though, when I like, for example, if you just hear like, let's say Michael Jordan, he's making the speech like in his prime or something, definitely inspired by it. But I'm like, in my own head, I'm like, could I even do that? You
Right.
know?
Right.
It's almost intimidating for me.
At that really, eh?
Yeah.
Do you think that would extend to like any level of expertise or like mastery in something that you're doing? Do you
I think so.
that-
Yeah. I think it would extend to all of it. It just,
interesting.
maybe I'm just kind of lazy in that sense. I'm
not all this lazy.
No, it's like I'm thinking about it and I'm like scared of like, not scared, but like it's all their path that they took and all the work that they did is intimidating.
Yeah, the dedication and
Yeah.
like the amount of work that goes into pursuing something that you are so passionate and absorbed by.
I guess, yeah, if you're looking at such a big scale, someone like Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
for the sake
Sure.
of this
Yeah.
conversation, is like, yeah, cool, this guy's so passionate about this stuff, but how would you ever get to that? But I think it's still the root of it. You can be inspired by
Yeah.
this stuff, right? I guess that's
Absolutely. Yeah,
root
the
of what we're
passion
saying,
behind
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that for me, watching somebody be passionate about stuff, that has gotten me to want to try different things too. I think that's part of what inspiration does, I guess, is it's motivating you to grow,
Yeah.
right, at the end of the day. Or it could be a day-to-day thing too. I mean, shit, like I'll be honest, I'm in a rut with my work. So my non-podcast work, I'm at a point where I'm hating doing it. I don't want to be there these days, and I can't pinpoint what it is. So I'm trying to find like daily inspiration to just do my job, which can be a difficult thing. You know, it's not a fun
Definitely.
space to be in. I don't know if you've ever felt shit like that, but I hate that.
Yeah.
Because you feel like now you're like grinding to find something to make you inspired to do, you know? And I guess that can be like people can get trapped in like a hole like that sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially with work. I feel like it's so easy to fall into that rut. Or at least for me. Like I get into that rut and I'm just like, like yourself, like finding daily inspiration, like, oh, I could do this and this will be like more fun, or like create more work, so in
Yeah.
that way I feel inspired and useful in my position. But then at the same time, you're just like, why am I fighting so hard
Yep.
to find this inspiration?
Yep.
Like, it shouldn't be that
Because
hard.
there was like you were passionate about it at some point.
Exactly.
So where did that go?
Yeah.
You know, so you're like struggling to get that. And I guess this comes back to last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about change and that process where you're going through that in-between moment. And as the unknown, that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
It can be difficult when you're trying to find inspiration. Like that sucks. It's not a fun journey to do that, but it's necessary to keep doing things unless you get to a point where you feel like in relation to us talking about work, you feel like, okay, now I got to switch what I'm doing.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like now you
Like
gotta
when
look for
you've had
something else.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to come to terms with too. But anyways, that's not the point of today's conversation. To come back to talking about inspiration and your relationship with both of your siblings, I'm wondering if there was something about you that you would want your siblings to be inspired by. What would that be?
I'll take this one.
Thanks, Ollie.
Maybe because like at home or just in general, like all four of us actually, my brothers and my dad, I feel like we're very reluctant to speak our minds or like just talk about our emotions. Like we that talk doesn't happen very often, if not at all at home. So like doing something like this podcast for me is like, I would hope to be inspiring for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't, it's very like, I hate to say like manly. It's very manly at home. There's a big stink in the house. A lot of
It smells
pesticides.
as soon as you walk in.
There's grime on the walls.
farts, beer,
Farts, women.
tomahawk
everywhere.
steaks, Tom Brady, sports ball,
Boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that feeling in the house, or the lack of. But yeah, I mean, something like this podcast for sure is
Yeah.
like something I would hope they'd be inspired by.
Yeah. That's I like that you say that. One, because you're saying the podcast. But we talked about that last week, and we talked about masculinity. That's that kind of traditional thing where you're more closed off and you're not sharing, right? I was talking to Alex before you got here, and I was saying how even me watching you from the first episode that you and I did together to the most recent episodes, you are more comfortable opening up. You appear more comfortable opening up. You feel, to me, like you're able to get a point across way better. You're willing to share.
Yeah.
And that's only in a matter of like a couple months.
Yeah.
Right. So that's sick. That's so cool. Like I get to see that happening with you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so if your family can take that, that's amazing. That's a really good thing to hope that they can.
There was even a few
be
times where I
inspired by.
messaged you after like
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that felt really good. I almost feel like a mini confidence boost right after the
Yeah.
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
like
cool.
from an outsider's perspective, like you can definitely see your growth on the podcast too. Getting mushy.
yeah.
But like, yeah, definitely from like the first episode to like now, it's, you can see that process, the process that you like draw inspiration from, and you're just like, wow, like he's grown, and like that's so cool. So cool to watch.
Yeah, proud of you, Cavs. You good, man.
Man,
Suck it, Dad.
yes.
How's that for riveting? Oh man, that's perfect. That's cool.
I get home, my dad slaps me. You don't show your emotions on camera.
So I watched something riveting.
yeah. A little too.
Liam Neeson walks in. Man, no, that's cool. That's really cool, man. And I'm genuinely proud of you for even just being willing to do that. And that is inspirational to me. Is you stepped into a place where you're uncomfortable, right? I remember the first episode. I knew you were uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
I could feel you were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, one, I'm trying to learn how to make a space comfortable, and that's a process in itself too. But you were willing to come in, you were willing to try it, and you were willing to come in and be a repeat person on here. And it's awesome. I really appreciate it, and I love seeing it happen with you. So that's
Thanks,
cool that you
guys.
get to grow. Yeah. For yourself, how about you? What do you think? Gee, that wasn't a dab, was it?
Yeah. It was.
Fuck me. What year is it? What year is it?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Anyways, there's something that you could give to your siblings. What would you want them to take away?
This.
God, this right here.
This right here.
Yeah.
With dabbing. No,
No.
I don't know. I guess like it's just, I don't know how free spirited I can be at
Yeah.
times, I guess.
At times.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like also like at home, I'm a lot more of a goofball. Like growing up, like I like prank my brothers, or like we'd team up in like pairs of twos to like group up on one of our brothers.
Yeah.
And it's just like just things like that. Like I hope that like that sticks with them, and like as they date and as they start building like their families, and you know, like bring the sense of like humor and community into that.
Yeah. I mean, speaking on behalf of our friends, I know that we see that, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever we're with you, you're absolutely a goof.
Absolutely
Yeah.
a goofball. Yeah.
And that's a cool thing. It's a trait that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like also like the number one thing that I get when people first meet me, they're just like, oh, you're very intimidating, or like just like super RBF, like resting bitch face.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I don't know how to not come off that way. Like, yeah.
And then you start talking to you.
Yeah, and then you start talking, they're just like,
She's
you're an
like,
idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah. Oh, she's just stupid.
Yeah, there you go.
No, not really, of course. But yeah, I see that absolutely in you. And I think if you could take that away as a sibling, imagining a brother or sister, it's that free spiritedness, right?
Yeah.
It's that lack of holding back on who you are. It's a level of like authenticity, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what it is. And it's a good takeaway.
Remember who you are.
Lion King. Oh,
go
my
watch it tonight.
God.
Not the
I
new
might
one.
have to. No, not the new one.
one.
Definitely the old one.
Yeah, definitely the other one.
I haven't watched the new one.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, save myself.
It's
give myself
honestly a
favor.
little strange. Like,
Do me a favor and don't.
it just looks so real.
Really.
It looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
They just
But that's not the point of Lion King.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's got to have it was missing like so many vibes in the movie. Like, I don't want to get into it.
Science has gone too far. They're animating too much. Talking about free spiritedness, this just making me think about this a little bit. The other day, I don't remember where I heard it, but someone had mentioned something about authenticity in a person, how being authentic is like one of the more attractive things in life. You know, you want to
Absolutely.
be around people who are authentic, right? And so that if people can take that away, being around you, that's huge, because you're allowing other people to be themselves in a way, right? I think, have you heard of this? It's like this whole first follower idea. Have you heard of that at all?
No.
It's an idea around like leadership. And the first follower is usually the person who kind of starts a fire in a way. Why are you smiling? Yeah, huh? Do you know about first follower? Yeah, exactly.
He's
first,
commenting on your post first.
this guy. But if you think about not a mob, but like a like a mob
ties?
mentality, but like there's a video that you could find, and it's about first followers, and it's this music festival, right? There's these people on this hill at a music festival,
yeah.
and this one guy's there dancing and just doesn't care. Right, they don't care that anybody else is watching them. They're just moving around. They're having a good time, right?
Love
And they're
that.
dancing kind of crazy,
Yeah.
right? And of course, you love that. I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that with
Yeah.
Ivan. I've seen you
Yeah.
do it with Jen. I've seen you do it with everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's you,
Yeah.
right? And it's a really powerful thing, because what you see in that video is this guy's dancing and this guy doesn't care, no care in the world. All of a sudden, one person gets up and they go over and they join him. And now it's two people dancing, right? Third person shows up shortly after. All of a sudden, there's a crowd that forms around this person who it just took one to be themselves and not care that other people are watching. And now there's a whole crowd doing the same thing, getting to just be free in that moment because of something that one person did.
And it's something so liberating about doing that, and like just being authentically you. And I feel like it's hard for some people, because they're just like, oh, but what will others think?
Yeah.
Fuck what other people
cares?
think. Honestly, who
cares?
cares?
Sure.
Wear the t-shirt, get that tattoo, like have another drink. Like at
Do
the end of the
whatever you
day,
want.
yeah.
there.
There you go. No, but like at the end of the day, when you're like, I don't know, 103 in your deathbed, like you're not going to look back and be like, I'm so glad I didn't take that other drink.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be like, I should have taken that other drink. I should have gone to the bar with my friends. I should have just let it all like hang loose.
Tell me about it. No, but for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's easier. I mean, it's a little easier said than done for a lot of people, for sure. Because I'm like, I'm thinking like back in like, it depends on like what you're going through at the time or like just what age you are. So like back in elementary school, you want to like talk to like even just like another person or talk to a girl. It's just the scariest thing in the world. But like people are like, oh yeah, do it. You should. Well, no one's really telling you to do it in elementary school. It's like,
go talk to her, man.
You want to talk to a girl? Ew.
Yeah.
But like, you get the point.
There's
right?
a lot of cooties in elementary school.
Cooties. You got to be watch out for that.
Yeah.
I do get the point.
Yeah.
I get the point.
At the time, it's it could be coming from like I would consider myself the opposite of Alex in that sense, where very much reserved, even in the group setting. When I was even just getting into our friend group.
Yeah.
So I'd be like watching like Alex and Ivan dancing and like doing goofy shit. Yeah. And I'd just be like, oh, that's like good for them.
Yeah.
I kind of want to join.
But I could never do that.
Yeah. Exactly. And I've evolved in that sense where I'm a little more goofy now, especially around the group. But
yeah. But to your point about that, it's like it kind of comes back again to that exposure piece when we're talking about being around something enough time. We talked about that last week. When you're near somebody like yourself who is free and expressive, and usually the situations where we're with you, it's a moment where you can do that.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the other side to this, or another side to this, is that you can say fuck it and do whatever you want, but not every environment calls for that.
Of course,
if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like at work, you're not going to say fucking do what you want, just not do your job. You know what I mean? Like that's how you be an asshole.
Leave.
Yeah. Like, okay. But when you're in a setting where I guess you have that permission or this space to be free as much as you can, like take steps towards that. Because you're right. It's not a night and day thing.
No.
For some people, it's not just a switch that you turn on where, okay, yeah, now I'm going to just be me.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much that builds into who a person is that might tell them that they can't just be me, right? Whatever their lived experience, their trauma, whatever that might be, might tell them that they can't, right? But listening to us, you know what I'm saying? Like listen to us and do what you can. Yeah, try and put yourself in a position where you can just be more authentic when possible, because it goes a long way for your mental health. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It goes a
and
long
not
way
just for yourself,
health.
like even like what you were just saying, like it's intoxicating. It grows on people and it shines on them and it like releases this energy in them also, and then you're just like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be that person. Like not saying anybody wants to be me, but like people want to be in that position. They want to be like that for themselves.
That's I guess the root of what we're talking about with inspiration and everything. When you draw inspiration from a person, right, you're not wanting to be them. There's a quality about them that you're interested in. There's a quality about them that you're attracted to or that you wish you could adopt into your own life.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's where inspiration from individuals comes into play. You're not copying somebody. You're not trying to be a new person. You like something about how someone does something. How can I bring that into my own life?
Exactly.
That's what you're saying. Right. And for you might watch Alex and Ivan dancing and not quite be able to go in there and dance with them just yet.
Yeah, because I'm not that's not me.
This guy's also not coordinated. This guy can't dance. This is dance moves. Oh, man. But, yeah, you take your baby steps. Yeah. You take your baby steps, right?
Yeah, but it's like inspiring where I don't necessarily have to join in and dance with them, but just to feel the comfort and the confidence to do whatever I want to be doing at that certain time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say inspiration, thinking of inspiration as like a broader topic, what would you say inspiration does in terms of your growth as an individual? Like what role does that play for you in your lives? Thinking of now, thinking of the future, thinking of the past.
I think it can also be like situational, right? So you can get inspiration to, like for me, like I knew that I wanted to move out of my family home.
Sure.
And like I got inspiration to leave, and then I did, and then I ended up, like COVID happened, I was living with my sister, and then I ended up moving in with my boyfriend. Like, you know, like things kind of just like fell into place, but like I was inspired to leave by either a situation or just like things like happening in your life. You're just like, I think it's time, you know? So then like you take off, you start doing things that you think are the right move.
Yeah.
And then slowly, like, life is just like, just kidding. Like, this is the way that you want to go. And then you're just like, okay, so you kind of go that way. But like, sometimes it's not even just one specific thing. It can be like a whole event or a person, like we were just talking about, you know, but like just that situation can get you to look at everything differently and kind of just change your entire environment.
Yeah. And then that's what creates the growth. Right?
Exactly.
Like that puts you into a spot where now you are growing. You've moved out. You're living on your own with your boyfriend, wherever. Right. And now there's growth in that.
Definitely.
Right? You're in new situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking of sort of two scenarios. So I'm thinking of when right now, right, I mentioned I'm in a bit of a rut with work, right? I'm at a point where I'm not super happy every day going in. And so for me, the role that inspiration is playing is at a day-to-day level, finding me just like peace, I guess, you know, like it's not necessarily growth, but the growth in a way is I'm learning right now to deal with unhappiness every day, which sucks.
Or just like
but I'm
working through that unhappiness.
Working through it, still being able to do the rest of the things you need to
Exactly.
do, and finding some sense of joy in some other space.
Yeah.
Right? Pursuit of happiness. You know what I mean? So for me right now, inspiration, they're little things, but it's little things that get me through a day. It's finding something to look forward to that's often inspiring. Planning this was my inspiration for having a good week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get 3 people in here instead of 2? I went and I bought this chair. I was really excited about doing that. Evan gave me shit for it because now I can't really afford going to Hawaii, but whatever. Fuck it. I'll make it work. Anyways.
It's a beautiful chair.
It's a beautiful chair. I love it. It's
go.
very comfy.
King in the castle.
King of the castle. I have a chair. The other scenario, though, and this is something from just this last year, was the inspiration to start this podcast, right? The inspiration I took from that was talking to Jesse, who was on previous episodes on the podcast. He and I talked about what it would look like or what it would take to do something like this.
Yeah.
Because he had done something with video, right? I thought, okay, I can talk to him about this. I saw someone who was passionate about something, and I thought, I want to do something to create passion in myself. I had the idea for a podcast. I ran stuff by him. I asked him questions. Next thing you know, we're buying the stuff and we're figuring it out, right? And so that got me to a point where now I'm doing these.
Yeah.
And so that was like an event, I guess,
Yeah,
to your point, an event or a person, a situation. I drew inspiration from a need where I was feeling like I wasn't able to be creative and I needed something to inspire me and get me motivated to do more, to grow and to try something new. And then speaking to him as a person, he was able to give me inspiration because I just saw him doing it and I saw him being passionate about similar things. So for me, the role that inspiration plays in my growth is it's situational. Right? I don't always have the same feeling about inspiration. Right now, I'm feeling like I'm scrambling to find inspiration. Like if I'm imagining like you're a rock climber or something, you know what I mean? I'm looking for the next little fucking thing, like to grab on with my fingers. Like I gotta get something, otherwise I'm dead.
It's a great visual.
Yeah. But that's the way I feel about inspiration right now. Is I'm looking for the next thing and I need it.
Yeah.
How it worked with Jesse was it wasn't inspiration. I was feeling like I needed to be creative. And then I knew already someone who was creative. Let me just run things by you and see what happens. And then that stoked the fire to this, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what it is for me. It's a situational thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
It differs from time to time.
Yeah. I definitely agree that it's definitely situational. And even for me, like, I found that I've been working out a lot more this year. And like that's definitely inspiration that I take from just living with a boy.
Yeah. boys.
But yeah, no, like he gets up at like 5:30
What the hell?
every morning. Yeah, literally every morning, and we'll go to the gym. And like I always tell myself, like the bus is leaving. Like whether I'm on that bus or not, it's leaving. It's going, right? So I'm just like. I got myself an Apple Watch because I had been thinking about it for so long. It's like, okay, what's really stopping you? Myself. I'm the only one that's in my way. So then I was like, okay, get myself an Apple Watch, like log my progress, see like what I'm actually doing to change what I don't like and what I do like.
Do you mind if I ask a question before you give your thing?
Oh yeah,
Right?
of course.
living with a boy,
Living with a
right?
boy.
Living with a boy. Was that a quick change or a slow change for you running into that?
Definitely a slow change, which, yeah, it was also kind of like a little crazy in a sense because like it all happened during a pandemic, and coming up next month, August, like it'll be 1 full year that I'm living with a boy.
Wow.
Yeah, but just like that full year almost felt like a breeze, and I've never lived with a boy before. Like, you know, someone that you like, a partner. I've never lived with a partner before, right? Like I've lived with boys like my brothers,
Yeah.
but like it's different.
Yeah, you're not sharing the same space.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It was definitely a slow change, but it was a good change, and I grew a lot in that process as well. Just patience and just like learning different quirks about people that you don't normally see in like a setting where you are spending time with them, but instead you're spending almost every waking hour with them.
Right.
So you see different quirks, you see things that like you just didn't think that you would see or like affect you in a way.
Yeah.
But
No, I
like
get what you're saying.
positively. Yeah.
You're learning everything about this person.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
You're seeing
The
how they
ins
are
and outs.
in a real
Yeah.
world situation,
Exactly.
you know, because otherwise you just get glimpses of people.
Yeah.
The reason why I was asking is you saying that you were inspired by living with him to be more fit and be more active.
Yeah.
I figured that would have been a slow change. That's not an overnight thing, but that behavior was there from the beginning from him.
Yeah.
Right. So he was already doing that. It's not like he just suddenly started and now you became aware of it. But I think that's another way that inspiration can work is that it's like it's a slow burn sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
A slow burn. Yeah.
Contagious burn.
A contagious burn. Yeah.
Contagion.
Well, like
Contagion.
even similar
Great movies.
to you, like your eldest brother was the one who started working out, and like now
Right.
your whole family is fit fam.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
I guess during COVID, I thought I was like just kind of like sitting there doing nothing during COVID. But during COVID, when it first got announced that our work was shutting down, obviously I was like super excited.
Yeah.
I
I
was-
to be home.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was just, I'm that type of person where I'm a homebody, so I love being home. But I was kind of interested in making some money on the side because I just didn't want to rely off CERB because I knew you'd have to pay off that back and like, or part of it eventually.
Taxed on it.
Yeah. And then I was like, should I maybe try playing poker online again? And I was serious on doing that. But then I got into, I'm not sure what it was Brandon's videos. Brandon's videos, I started watching the first few he started doing, and I slowly started to up my knowledge of stocks.
Yeah.
And then I was watching his videos every week. And then I watched like the first like 10, and then I just started like learning about it by myself. I'm reading a bunch of articles, downloaded a bunch of apps, started investing a little bit by a little bit, and I was researching a whole bunch of companies. So I think it was like, again, situational, where COVID kind of it didn't really light a fire under my ass, but it made me think differently.
Yeah. Put you in a different situation to
Exactly.
like reassess your environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I wanted to keep making money essentially. So I was doing the stocks and then slowly started learning about cryptocurrency. But yeah, that's been going on still. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that that's actually coming out now from you because like every time we've brought up the pandemic so far, Kabir's always, never change me. There had to have been something. I knew there had to have been something.
It
Yeah.
just slips my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sieve in there.
Yeah.
Right through.
A couple of holes in the back.
Little
Things leak
colander.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, first of all, for both of you just like being here and having this talk today. I really appreciate it. But we'll kind of wrap up here. Yeah, I think for me, just hearing from you, I don't have siblings. And so I'm never.
What do you mean? You got 25 less.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. Some say family. Basically, yeah. I mean, all of us. I consider you all family, and fuck this guy, right? I mean, anyways, I consider us all family, and for me, just hearing stories about like what a sibling relationship can do as far as inspiration is cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never get that, and that's a lived experience that you can't change. You know what I mean? You don't get to choose what your family is. You get what your family is. It just is what it is. No complaints here, because I'm happy I get to learn about these stories from you two.
But I mean, in
Yeah.
a sense, you do get to choose your family. Like, we picked all of each other.
That's true, as friends,
It's
yeah.
a family in
Yeah.
a
You don't get to
different
choose your mom
blood
and your
family,
dad.
your blood
Yeah.
You don't get to
relatives.
choose your brothers and sisters, but you do get to choose your
Fast and Furious 10 here right now. Oh man. But yeah, thank you both. I appreciate it. And I wanted to maybe just for a moment here address the people watching. If you like today's episode with a group situation, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if there's something that could be done better or framed better. I don't know. Maybe these should be like way longer because
Tips
now
and
you have an
tricks.
extra brain. Give us some tips and tricks on
Emphasis-
3-person podcast.
emphasis on the tips.
Please, I need more tips. I think for me, the general takeaway from today, inspiration comes from different places. It hits you at different times, obviously, but depending on your need for it, I guess you may or may not be looking for it. It might just be like passively around you. You might be inspired by the people you work with, the people you spend your time with, the people you watch dancing, whatever it might be, right? And you're not always finding it, but when you pause for a second, reflect and think about what inspires you in your life, I think that's the important thing to do, because that's what makes you realize, okay, this is what I'm taking away from these people. This is what I'm getting from my friendships, my family, whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
Right? Cool. Very good. Very good. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, like it or something, leave a comment, whatever you want. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed, and we will see you next week. Peace.
So